Good morning. Welcome in. I am Mel. So I decided I'm going to do a little short series on alchemy, on transmutation and sublimation. And I wanted to share just information, various techniques, things that I use in my practice in order to transmute energies for healing. My universe has been kind of pushing me to speak on a particular topic that I just wasn't ready to communicate. It can tend to be a taboo subject, but it's the nature of creation. So today I'm going to talk about life force energy. The sublimation, which is a term used in our Western society, which sublimation is transmutation of our sexual energy. Sexual energy, when people hear that, they automatically think of the sex act. Your sexual energy is your creative life force. That is your breath. That's your subtle energy. That's what gives life to us all. And it's a very powerful force. It's not just about cardinal desire and being in the sex act. You can utilize and use this energy for regeneration, for transmutation, for higher creative works. And you can actually use it to reach ecstatic states of bliss and connect with the source. So I'm going to read from a paper just so I can stay on track and not start picking up threads, because this is a very large topic and there's so much that can go into it, and it actually expands and connects to so many other things. It's actually very beautiful. So I'm going to read from this paper that I wrote in 2017. And I'm just going to give you, general descriptions and understanding about our life force. So life force energy, which can be termed prana, ki, your Kundalini, however, whatever term you wish to use. It's subtle energy. It is the vital force of cosmic energy manifested in all living entities. It is an all-pervasive organic energy, which is the essence of our being. It is what gives us vitality, drive, vigor, and vim. Central to Taoist worldview and practices is ki. Literally, the word ki means breath, air, or gas. But figuratively, ki is life force, that which animates the forms of the world. It is the vibratory nature of phenomena, the flow and tremoring that is happening continuously at a molecular, atomic, and subatomic levels. It sustains and nourishes our bodies, and it can be used to support and increase the body's natural self-healing ability. This can speed up recovery from illness and injury. Life force energy can be used to boost our physical vitality and energy levels, and to support us and heal us on the emotional and psychological levels as well. Life force energy is also crucial when clearing and aligning our chakras. If no life force is present, the body will become inert, slowly fading into the moment of death. It is at death, in fact, that our life force ceases and our soul is freed from the human body. Any sense activity or sense experience consumes a lot of life force. One activity that consumes the most of this sacred energy is the sex act. I want to point out that sex actually means synchronized energy exchange. So you are exchanging your life force when you are in the act, so to speak. And to point out all of creation is a sexual nature. We all know that through procreation. Masculine to feminine energies merge the hieros, and create the child. But all of nature is sexual and act in the way that it creates masculine, feminine energies, okay? So with sex, it's blissful, it's sensual experience and a natural part of the human experience. And most importantly, the evolution of our species. Yet from my perspective, it has been tainted, misused, corrupted. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, humans seek sexual interaction with another as a necessity in order to fulfill a cardinal desire. Those desires can be purely pleasure-seeking, a need to bond intimately with another, or strictly to procreate. Our modern society has become all about seeking stimulation and instant gratification through sexual interaction, and as a result, individuals have come to abuse the power of sex. Humans have become consumed by their impulses of sexual desires and the primal animal that we as humans inherently are. The desire to fulfill consumes the individual's entire consciousness, entire mind, and the entire attention in the focus on the act. The physicality of releasing pranic sexual energy, that means that one is voluntarily binding oneself to a level of physical consciousness. In today's society, people believe the only way to reach blissful states and heighten awareness is through another by engaging sexually. Although this can and does occur between peoples through sacred sexual rites, it is not necessary to experience oneness with the Creator. People do not realize that this sacred energy dissipates, never to return to the body after it was released through ejaculation and orgasm. All your vital life force has been used for mere moments of sensual pleasure. Now one must naturally regenerate the energy within the body. When you engage from a purely pleasure-seeking perspective, your energy becomes entangled with other or others, depending on your preference. Energetically, you have merged with other and have imprinted, so to speak, attaching to each other's subtle bodies. The baggage carried by each individual, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, has become part of your energetic field. We should be protecting this energy. It is what sustains us, and when you allow yourself to technically be infiltrated, you are ultimately just throwing your power away, your life force, for a lesser animal desire. So if you are having sex with one who has carries a lot of negative energy, you will take on those negative aspects. This is where we can look at it and say courting. And people don't recognize when they're courted, especially to their sacral. And even long after the act, so to speak, that person is now entangled, and they can draw from your life force well long after the situation. And people don't recognize that, where they're being drained. So, let's see. So what I want to present is a different perspective. When we look at this life force, which is inherently what gives us life, and what we can do with that. So, when you are trying to Conservation. I want to speak on conserving your energy. And again, this goes back to what you're interacting with. This is not just on a sexual nature, and exchanging that energy, because that life force, you are constantly exchanging energy with various things. So it's being mindful. Where are you putting your energy out? Who are you giving your energy to? Who are you exchanging? What are you exchanging with? So again, bringing that back and conserving that energy within yourself is very important, and learning to work with that energy. So if, say, one's wishing to recover from illness, and they don't realize they're being drained, okay? One suggestion I make in this paper is celibacy, okay? We can go and we can ridicule and judgment with nuns and all that crap, okay? Or you can look at some of the cultures, is it Bahavistas? They do that and don't go into the sexual nature with other, so that they can connect more deeply with their source and their creator, and have that energetic exchange with their source versus other. And they're able to reach these mystical states on their own. Okay? So one suggestion is celibacy, or sustaining for a while, to build your energy back to a healthy stasis. There are amazing health benefits as a result of conserving this energy. The ancients were fully aware of the magnitude and potential of using sexual energy creatively and for higher purposes, to reach heightened states of awareness in union with the Creator. Celibacy is a rational process of preserving and conserving precious energy so that it can be utilized in other very essential and indispensable functions. Metaphorically speaking, if it is preserved, it can be converted, just as tangible gross water is converted into a subtle stream. A river may not have much power in it by itself, but if it's dammed up and properly channeled, it can turn huge turbines and produce electricity. In essence, this is celibacy. So the conservation is, you're taking this subtle energy and you are converting it. You are transforming it into working energy, into kinetic energy. It's very powerful. So let's see. The Healing Tao meditative practices do this by focusing on the movement of ki. The basic practice is based on circulating ki through a body circuit called the microcosmic orbit. What it is it's an energy superhighway that is within yourself, your own system. And using that vital breath, you are learning to become a regenerative source, and breathing that energy up and through the body, connecting to the cosmic life force, and then bringing it back down through your breath. And what you're doing is you're circulating, you are regenerating your cells, your how am I saying that? You are feeding oxygen basically to your cells through this vital life force, which is in connection with your own life force. That is the essence of the transmutation, and cleansing our cells and purifying with that breath. See, and when you can connect to it, it automatically responds with you. And it's learning to take that breath that life force, that Kundalini, and shift it through the body in order to release any stagnation, any blockages that you may be holding. So then, where I'm going to go with this now is that breath, which when I breathe, it connects to my heart and my higher heart. And what happens is that breath, that life force, that sexual energy, I'm taking from my root versus expending it through the sexual nature of the root and the sacral. I'm taking that creative force and bringing it up into my higher chakras. And I allow it to build and charge inside of my heart. And my heart will rhythmically produce this bliss state. And I will charge and expand out. And then I am generating this life force, which then I will shift and connect with my throat, my third eye, and my crown. And I can release the pure essence or ojas out into the universe through my crown. Now here's the cool part, and I'm still learning about this. When we can reach these states of bliss charge, what you're doing is it's activating, you're reaching this ecstatic state with the creator, with your source. And there's a physics to this, where you are now taking that bliss and charging your blood and that purification, which causes implosion. I get excited. So what we've found, and I'm going to give you a website that you can go and research this if this is of interest, is taking that bliss charge and your blood. This is something that's been hidden that we haven't known about for we don't remember this. But this is something that we lost through the fall of our DNA. It's our birthright. So again, I'm going to read to stay on track. As the Elohim, the Anunnaki, the Ophanim, the Seraphim, our original bloodline, we lost the skill to charge and ignite our blood, our DNA, with bliss. When DNA is in fact ignited with fractal ambient charge generated by bliss, it braids recursively to the point of implosion. At that point, it phase conjugates and begins to make its own gravity field and local black hole. You can look this up at goldenmean.info/DNA wave. Look into Dan Winters, who is a physicist. Amazing work that he works with the Enochian alphabet and the templates and all the coding and all that goes into it. So what I'm saying is, learning to work with your own life force is very imperative for healing, transmutation. You and the alchemists knew that, okay? That's the Philosopher's Stone. That's the great work. You are taking these lower base cardinal acts, emotions, and you are sublimating or transmuting them into their higher octave. Okay? Sorry, I went from that one thing because it's very important. So from a Western perspective, it's called sublimation, or the transmutation of sexual energies. Again, your life force. Sublimation is a process that diverts the flow of instinctual energy from its immediate sexual aim and subordinates it into cultural endeavors. So you can use these to create a spiritual nature and create more sensual works versus releasing raw potential. You're transforming it again to its higher octave. You can look at these things, the study and the practice of tantric. And again, in our society, we've created all this mumbo jumbo in the spiritual community, how to activate your Kundalini, which is not very healthy. Your Kundalini will activate on its own when the body is ready. If you force it, that's where people have traumas, because the energy gets stuck. They don't know how to work with it yet and allow the energy to flow the way that it needs to. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. I have to stop the video. So in our Western society, we tend to glorify and sexualize everything. And what happens is we don't recognize the pure potential and power that our life force holds. And we expend it strictly through the sexual act, when we can utilize it for so much more, especially for regeneration and healing. So I think where I left off was that, in our culture and stuff, they have so many people, practice tantric, and the idea is to merge with other in order to reach that mystical state of bliss through another and produce this higher state of consciousness and awareness. And you can do this as well within your own self. Again, it's taking the lower base metals and turning them into gold. That is the alchemy process. There's just so much more we can do than from the desire and carnal perspective of what this energy really is. So one thing, when I had talked about, again, the celibacy and refraining, and that has been part of my practice for many years. And that was that was part of my healing journey. I had to repurify my energy, so to speak, because of negative attachments. Because of sexual abuse, those type of things and those traumas. And I had to recreate and regenerate that force within me and back to its pure state. And learning through the mystical experiences and connecting to my source. And I've learned to use this energy. And when I allow it to generate, I can be that facilitator through Reiki. And I have learned to work with other subtle energies within the environment and connect to that vital force and be able to draw a charge and literally project from my hands, which is fascinating. That's something I'm still working with and learning and mastering. And that'll probably be a lifelong process. I can connect to the vital force of Mother Gaia and draw that energy up and merge with her and project that energy out, which helps transmute the atmosphere, the environment. Again, it being that conduit, that energy channel, and knowing how to direct and move this vital force beyond sex. It's magical. It's wild. I mean, the experiences, sometimes there's no words for this bliss state that we can reach. So let's see. I've kind of gone on a tangent again. So like this fact, creative people embody another facet of transmutation, the lifting up of procreative forces located in the sacral and the sexual, located in the sacral into creative energies and then associate it with the throat. And that's a process that I do. Individuals working in this way are often engaged in some form of communication, broadly defined. They may be artists, musicians, writers, philosophers, or scientists making new discoveries. Through their chosen vocation and avocation, they actively transmute the raw material force of sexuality into its higher octave of creative expression, often in the goal of enhancing the lives of others. There are countless examples of creative geniuses throughout the ages who have wrestled with their lower natures, struggling to transmute the vital forces of their personalities into service to the world. Again, so, the body's it's a vehicle, it's a conduit, and we have this ability to take this force and create so much more than just procreation, so much more than the physicality of pleasure seeking. Yes, it's beautiful to engage with other and have that conjoined spiritual nature in oneness with the creator, with the source, the infinite intelligence, God, goddess, whatever term you wish to use. So I just wanted to present and bring this forth and give a different perspective of our sexual nature and creation itself, and why it's very important to protect our life force, and where we're giving that energy away, what we're giving it to, who's attached to it, etc., etc., etc. So from my perspective, I'm very mindful because I know the power that it holds. That I will not, and this is by choice. Not everybody has to do this. This was my choice, part of my path. As a facilitator, as a healer, as a transmuter, I have to keep my life force very pure, so to speak, in order to transmit, in order to transmute the energies within the environment, or if I'm working with other people and such. That has just been part of my path. But I found that it's important to conserve that, and I can use that energy and converted to working energy, mechanical energy, kinetic energy. Transmutation is taking one substance and transforming it into another state. So, and without the conservation of that within myself, I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do. Because if you think about it, and again, depending on people's preferences, and if you know anything about the energetics, you recognize you have to be cleansing and clearing your energy system all the time, because you're engaging and reciprocating and exchanging that energy with another. So I'm very mindful that then the vision that I see, in order to exchange that energy through a sexual act with other, is for a greater purpose within this ascension cycle. For me, at least. And that's my belief. That is my vision. And I really don't want to go more into that. But the vision itself, what happens when those energies connect, and the ability that it has, is pretty insane. It's pretty intense. So, anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit about that. I hope it makes sense. I hope that others will or can start to connect it with that type of that stream. You may receive your own downloads from this video. If you find other ways to work through your own transmutation process. But again, this life force is like the most important aspect of us being in the body, and what we can do to heal the body, to heal the mind, to heal the emotional body on every single plane. This energy will transfer within all of them. And again, the conduit, you work the energy, you move the energy through your body. And it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So again, I thank you all for listening. I hope this was helpful. Again, I'm going to, I think, continue with this and just share other various aspects of that I use in my practice for transmutation. And it will include techniques for healing emotions, thought forms, psychologically and spiritually. And I hope that the information and the tools and techniques that have been working for me will be helpful for others. So again, I thank you all for listening. I send you all much love and many blessings from my heart to yours. And I will see you soon.